Hi, and welcome to the Too Much Girls podcast, a podcast by two women who overthink, overexert, and overwhelm themselves, and how we try to overcome those feelings.
Taylor, did you do too much recently?
Um, Honestly, no. Surprisingly, things have been kind of calm lately, so I'm not trying to overwhelm myself and like overload myself. But I do have a little break in my schedule where the next month is looking very open and I don't have a lot of commitments. So I'm not trying to load myself down
I
with any kind of, you know, large commitment or anything.
I think
Have
that's
you been doing
amazing.
too much?
I'm trying, like, I'm kind of the same way. I'm trying not to. With like we're like in the final countdown for the wedding, so I've been like scheduling final meetings, and I still need to try to figure out what I'm getting my bridesmaids for their gift. And I just need to like, it's like the little things which I think stress me out
Mm-hmm.
more than like the bigger picture, because the
Mm-hmm.
little things, it's like, oh gosh, there's so many little things that I'm afraid I'm going to forget something.
The good thing with wedding planning and the little things, though, is you can usually wait till the last minute. I'm not saying do that, especially if it becomes a stressor. But if it's things like that, they don't like, in order of importance, they're very low. So you can always just kind of wait till it gets a little bit closer and then, knock all those things out at one time.
That's fair. That sounds very fair. But I am excited though, because everything is coming together and it's so soon. It's crazy.
It's crazy. I feel like you guys just got
I
engaged.
know. I know. The last photo I shared on my personal Instagram, it was like 360 something days. And now I'm like, oh, it's like 35 now. So crazy.
So today's episode focus is going to be women and femmes in streaming and Soulsborne.
Today's guests are Tay Ray 3 and Little One You Are, Twitch streamers and member of the Firekeepers. They play a variety of Souls and Souls like games, and their Twitch links are below in the description. We are going to introduce Taylor, this other Taylor. That Taylor.
Hello. Hello, I'm Taylor of Joe and Tay's Let's Plays. I do stream on Twitch with my husband. We do play a lot of Soulsborne and just really anything.
Awesome. Other Taylor.
I'm also Taylor. My channel is Tayray3. I do a lot of different things. Soulsborne games. I am doing like Mass Effect 3, so like RPGs. I've done art. I do crochet occasionally, and I do all sorts of things. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think
And
that's
then
most of me.
Zoe.
Hi, hello. My name is Zoe, also known as Little One You Are on my Twitch channel and other various social medias. I face my fears in video games and beyond while sharing my mental health journey. I have two diagnosed anxiety disorders as well as a depression disorder, and I stream and face my fear of just putting myself out there and talking about my mental health journey to show others that they aren't alone. And I did that, faced my fear by starting to play Souls games, and now they're one of my favorite kind of games to play, with Bloodborne being my favorite, and Liza P coming up real close. So, but I also like playing variety and other things like that.
Awesome.
So let's start off with, I know you guys just told us about what you do on your channels, the kind of things we can expect there. What do you guys do outside of streaming? What are your favorite interests, hobbies, things that you do just to kind of wind down when you're not streaming?
I'm a big like crafter person. I really like working with my hands, and so something I've been working on doing more, getting into the last couple of years, is doing like cosplay things. So like I have it's a sword that's in the very corner and it's behind my television, but I have one that I made from scratch based off of my favorite anime, which is called Claymore. So really love doing stuff like that. Love getting outside for hiking, and just being in nature, because it can be very relaxing and very good for my brain to get it to kind of just shut off and live in the moment. Um, and I really like watching the same media over and over again. I have this giant list that just continues to grow, and sometimes I knock things off of it. But just there's not enough time in the day or the week or just any time. So but working slowly through it. So stuff like that.
I feel that.
Yeah, and comfort shows are good, especially something you can kind of just turn your brain off because you already know what's going on. You can just kind of have it on as background noise or just, re-enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm rewatching Bones for like the third time.
That's what Joseph's rewatching. So at night he'll watch something while we're going to sleep because I'm out immediately, and he started watching Bones for the first time. And I
I
think when it
love
was first airing, I watched up to like season 4, and for whatever reason just stopped watching it. So I'm like getting these tidbits from like later on. I'm like, oh, okay, this apparently these people are together now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that show so much.
I've never seen it,
Yeah.
so I'll just add it to my list and hopefully I'll get there.
Same.
Yeah, if you like crime shows, like
Uh-huh.
cop shows, it's pretty good.
Okay. Sounds like
Yeah.
a plan. And then Tay Ray, what do you like to do outside of streaming and content creation?
I like to crochet. I do crochet on stream occasionally, but I'm making this like temperature blanket. It's right here. And so it's like all like every single day gets a different color depending on the temperature for that day.
I love
Oh, that's
that.
And so
That's so
cute.
cool.
I'm like over a month behind, I think now, but I was crocheting a gift for my partner's birthday, and so that kind of took precedence over the blanket. So I have to catch up on the blanket. And you can see the cat.
Cat wants the blanket.
Um, but yeah, so I like to crochet, and then I also like to play sports. I play soccer and ultimate frisbee. Um, I've played soccer my entire life, but ultimate frisbee is newer, and so it's really fun to get out and like get to know some people. I moved to Calgary just 2 years ago, so it's nice to be able to make some friends in different circles. Yeah, and then I work. I'm a teacher. I haven't taught in a couple years, but I'm a science teacher, so I like to do sciencey things as well.
Oh my gosh. I love that you're a teacher. I used to be a teacher.
I miss teaching so much. I haven't been able to teach here because of immigrating to Canada, but hopefully next school year I can start like subbing again.
Aw.
With our Too Much Girls podcast, it was really born out of this idea that, Anna and I specifically talk about overexerting ourselves, taking on too much, overthinking. Are there any of those areas that you guys struggle with where you feel like you're doing too much, whether maybe it's like people pleasing, taking on way more than, you can put on your plate at the time, any of those things? And how do you find a balance, or are working to make it where you're not doing too much?
Hard to find a balance.
I can relate.
I take on a lot. I'm always doing things, which is like hard. And then I realize like I'm exhausted and I'm overwhelmed. And then I'm like, oh, it's because I haven't had a day where I've done nothing in a long time. So like recently I volunteer at like a fitness studio in the city, and like the exchange is I volunteer like 4 hours of my week, 2 shifts to get free classes, and it was like unlimited if I did 2 shifts. But recently I was like, I'm not even making it like once a week to the studio to use my free classes. So I knocked down the amount of shifts I do. So now I only do 1 shift a week. So that gives me Monday nights off, which is nice. And now my partner and I have a night that we know we'll be able to spend time together, because there was weeks where we just wouldn't have any nights together. And so yeah, one I usually realize after the fact that I've taken too much on, and then I can usually try to cut back, but it's hard.
Yeah. I agree.
I think I kind of get to
Oh,
this
sorry.
place where I do take too much on and then I just stop. Like I just check out. And that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me.
Like I'm done
Oh.
doing things. I'm just gonna sit.
Yeah, I just shut down. I'm just like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm just going to shut down right now and just not care about anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can relate definitely to both of those things, because um I will have just so many things that I want to do, and I have a tendency to put pressure on myself to also do those things, which never ever helps. And I'll just be like, hey, if you don't do all this stuff, you're gonna fall behind, and it's just gonna get worse and whatnot. But Something I've worked on over the last couple of years, especially in line with like helping to manage my anxiety, is just letting myself know it's okay to take a rest day. Like it might not feel productive, but like rest is productive, and you tend to just have more of a creative flow when you have that reset, because it can feel good to like do a bunch of stuff at once. Like I am someone who likes to make a checklist, and I love being able to just make progress on that checklist. But like we're all human and we only have like a certain amount of energy that we can exert in the day, and I definitely will kind of dip hard into that bucket sometimes, and then my body and my brain will be like, hey, you really need to take a break and we're going to force you to do that. So I've gotten to not do that like as often, but having just that reminder and like saying it out loud to myself, and then having my partner helping to remind me as well, they'll be like, hey, like not telling you to do anything, I just know that you haven't taken a break in a little bit, and I know it would probably be good for you. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Thank you for reminding me. I needed to hear this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can help to hear that like out loud reminder. But
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. I agree. Like I feel like with content creation especially, you always have these ideas running through your head like all the time. And then I tend to be like, "Well, I'm going to do that right now." And then it's like, "No, how about you just do that later?" Like because you're already doing XYZ. But yeah, Tay Ray, I liked how you said that you and your partner have like a designated night where like you just don't do anything related to content creation, and like that's like your guys' night to like spend time together. Because I've been like struggling with, okay, well, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with my fiance because I've been busy in this room, and I found that yeah, that's hard because yeah, we live together, but I feel like we hardly see each other. So we need to like come up with
Yeah.
like a schedule, I think. So we're just like, okay, these nights we're not doing this. We're going to spend time together.
Yeah, we had it was we like didn't have a balance for a long time, and so then like I decided I wanted to step down, like take off a shift at that place, and I was like, this is great because he streams Tuesday, Thursday, and then like I never know my work schedule, but I just am because I work at a restaurant too, and so like I never know when I'm gonna work until like the week before. But since this Monday night I had off already at the restaurant for this volunteer shift, I just didn't change my availability, and so now I have Monday nights off for sure. Um, and yeah, I was like, we need to use this time. We're just always gonna have Monday night, and we need to spend at least like 2 hours actually together, because we both like to game, and so like we play like last Monday we did end up playing like Rain together, but our uh, setups are on different floors, and so we're not like together. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, we need to spend at least a couple hours together, like eating dinner and sitting down together, and then we can like go play our games in our own rooms kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um,
Have
but
you
yeah, so
seen
we
those like
definitely need to strike something.
have you seen those couples on Instagram where they have like a gaming room and they each have their own desk and their own setup, but they're like next to each other? And I'm like, that's the
Such
dream.
goals. That is such goals. I just
yes,
our house does not allow. Like I'm in the spare bedroom on the
Uh-huh.
bottom floor, and I could barely fit my desk in here, and then he's up in our bedroom on the top floor, the third
Okay.
floor. So like we have 2 floors between us
Yeah.
basically.
Aw.
And so but there's like no room upstairs for my desk to be right next to his. And so hopefully in the future we can find a place that'll work for that.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah, really is.
So I know we talked about kind of what we do on our channels and our content creation. How did you guys start off in content creation? What kind of drove you to get into that?
um, I think I started back a little bit after the pandemic had happened, and so I was working from home. I was very fortunate to be able to work from home with my job that I had at the time. Um, and I just had a lot of time to just kind of think about things that I maybe wanted to try. And I had found Twitch, I think, like a year before. And so I was starting to hang out in people's streams and watching them. And I was like, this is really cool. Like, I have no idea if there would be anything that would come from this, but I think I want to try. So funny enough, I started a YouTube channel, and then about a month later, I started Twitch channel, but primarily focused on that. And like, uh, I think that because with my social anxiety, being in person and like talking to new people can be super duper intimidating. But I think with online, there's kind of like um, that barrier that's kind of not really there. With, you're on camera yourself, but you don't see the people coming in, but there's still like people that want to come in and like say hi. And I when I started doing that, like it felt really cool and it felt motivating. And then I started looking into it more. And then I was like, oh, I can raise money for charity by playing video games. And just like making like genuine connections with amazing people like over the last 5 years, I think. And I ended up finding my partner through streaming, which has been really, really lovely.
Me
And
too,
so just
actually.
like, oh,
That's so cute.
yeah, and like just I don't know, it feels cool, and like it's been helpful for me to talk about my mental health stuff with other people because I've been able to connect with so many people through that. And like something that will never like cease to amaze me if it says I have someone that reaches out to me and they're like, hey, like your content helped me in some way. Like you either whether that's like making them smile, making them laugh, brightening their day, showing them that they're not alone and things like that is just it's such a fulfilling thing. And so that's like something that I kind of like a feeling, I guess, per se, that I chase most of the time when I'm doing streaming. Like I know that like, I'm helping people in some way, even if it might feel small, quote unquote. Like it's big for those people and in their lives. And so just I started and then I just never stopped.
I love that.
I started a similar time, I think, like COVID. I like bought my PS5 in like when it came out almost, I think like December of 2020. And then like I started playing Valhalla, and then like I was interested in like the lore and stuff. Then like it was my first AC game. So I didn't know a lot. So I ended up like going on YouTube and finding someone's like VODs from Twitch, and I was like, "Oh, wait, what is Twitch?" And so I like went on Twitch and I found his streams and I watched, like I lurked. I never like interacted, but I just lurked. And I found, and his girlfriend was starting to stream, and so I like decided to like be like present in her stream. And then I was like, "Wait, she's just like me. I could stream if I wanted to." And so then I decided to start streaming, and there I was like in their Discord, and I was like also like I first just discovered Discord as well. Like I had no idea any of this existed. And so I joined their Discord, and like all of the people there like supported me so much in the beginning. I got affiliate like my first stream. It was like insane. I was just so like they were just so amazing, that community. And then I found other communities, and it really helped me get through COVID. I was lucky to where I was living with my parents at the time too, so like I wasn't by myself. But like it was hard during COVID without like being able to interact with people. That like I had my sister and my family, but like it's not the same. So streaming really helped me through COVID, and then I just never stopped. And then in like 2020, what year is it? Two, I guess. No, 2021 still. I met my partner Cal, and uh, I ended up moving to Canada for him. So now I'm in Canada as an American. So yeah, like Twitch has been really great, and I don't think I'm gonna stop streaming. Maybe it'll just decrease. Who knows? But yeah. And like Zoe said, the charity and like meeting all these amazing people, like the firekeepers, you guys, right? Like it's just been really great.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think there's so many positives with streaming, and I think like I mean, we don't like to think about like, you know, bad things happening like COVID like being a positive, but it's almost that like, okay, well if that never happened, you know, it's like, well, I probably wouldn't be here and I probably wouldn't have met all these amazing people. And you know, so I'm not like, I don't like to think about like silver linings because it can get toxic, obviously, but like it is kind of like that way of thinking in a way, you know, kind of like a butterfly effect. Um,
Hmm.
other
It feels like
Taylor?
we all started
Oh.
streaming around the same time, around that like first part of COVID.
Except me.
Which was nice. I feel like we all kind of needed, like everybody, especially depending on what your situation was with your living situation and quarantining and everything, just having that social interaction and then having like, somewhere to put your creativity. Like that was the thing for me is I was working from home. I was at a job that I didn't love, a job that I couldn't really like be as creative as I wanted to. So Twitch kind of gave me that outlet to like be creative and connect with people and then just take my mind off of everything going on with the world with kind of like the climate in the US, COVID, just everything. So it was a nice escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started my streaming journey in 2022. My circumstances were a little bit different. I had something happen that wasn't necessarily a great thing. And so I was also like unemployed and everything. So it was kind of just, I was in this limbo moment of like, okay, well, like, what do I do? Kind of like, what do I do with my time? And for the longest time, and I was a community ambassador for my apartment at the time, and so I basically was already posting to YouTube and everything, like making content on there. And then my partner was like, well, why don't you start, like, he had mentioned Twitch to me before, and he was like, well, you could start streaming on Twitch. And I was like, I could, I guess, because I have nothing else to do. So basically, I started streaming from I figured out how to stream from my PlayStation and like MacGyvered my studio apartment into like a little stream setup, and that's like where it happened. So, and then I ended up loving it, and so it just like never left. So, yeah.
I know we've kind of touched on this a little bit, kind of talking about our journeys, what led us to streaming. What's been everybody's biggest accomplishment or favorite moment you've had so far in your streaming / content creation journey?
That's a hard one.
It's hard.
It's hard because like the thing I'm most proud of, or like when I look back on streaming in general, it's not like a specific moment. It's just like I have all these friends all over the world, and like some of them I'm closer to than anyone I really know, like in person with me, especially since I moved as an adult to a new city in a new country. Like I don't have like my best friends are, I've known them since like kindergarten, so like I don't really like, making adult friends is hard, but it's so much easier on Twitch, I feel like, because we know we have one thing in common, and like we're always on Twitch or Discord. And so like it's much easier to make those friends. But like if I had to nail it down to one moment, it would probably be like I did a big American Heart Association charity thing this like last February for Heart Month, and it was like there was 10 of us and we blew our goal out of the water. I think either, well, I hit my goal and I was really happy with that, and everyone hit their goal, and we reached our like $10,000, I think is what our like goal as a group was. And it was just amazing. And to be able to do that with a bunch of people that I've met on Twitch is like crazy as well.
That's
That's so
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zoe?
Like, yeah, like, I think there might be like two parts to this, because I think like the connections that I've made with just so many people, like similar to how Tay-Ray was saying, like I'm closer with a lot of these people that I've met through this than like people like that I hang out with like in person. And there's nothing wrong with that, but just being able to like find those genuine connections with people that you in most other circumstances wouldn't have been able to like meet or come across. And so that has just been a really big thing for me. And I think there was, I think my biggest accomplishment for me personally with my content creation was kind of touching on a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. I had received a personal message from someone who had said, hey, like your streams have been really inspiring me to like face my own fears in my own life, and showing that I'm braver than I realize and that I'm stronger than I realize. And that like they found one of the charities that we had previously raised money for, Stack Up, they found something that they want to do career wise, like through us raising money for them. And so they're now going to school to pursue that dream. And like, I just, I don't know, like that just feels like a huge accomplishment to me because I never thought that I would be able to like being able to help out somebody with that in any way, shape, or form is just like an honor. And that me playing video games, talking about my mental health stuff was able to help somebody else, like just it just feels really good and very fulfilling.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Knowing that you can, like, yeah, having that, knowing that you have that impact on somebody else, it's such a good feeling. Like, knowing that you've made people's days brighter, or like, you know, inspire them to want to pursue something that they've been thinking about for a long time. Like, I think that's awesome.
So I think for me, it's probably kind of what you guys have touched on, just the community, meeting people, especially people that you share such like such close interests, and you just become tight so quick. Especially if you get the chance to meet those people in person, and thankfully, I have had opportunities where I've gotten to meet some of those people, and they are just as amazing as they are online. And I think that's one of the things about meeting people. You're online. You're like, is this a persona? Are they going to be the same person when I meet them? So thankfully, everybody has been exactly who they are, which is awesome. And then, Joseph and I have done a couple of charity things, been involved in a couple of charity things. And anytime we do something, I set my expectations low. And that's not to say that, we're not going to do a good job of it or the community's not going to show up, but I'm like, let me set it low. And then if we do really well, I'll just be really excited about it. So we did a couple of different charity things. We did a thing for the Ukraine. And then we were involved in the Fire Keepers collaboration that they did a couple months ago. And it was just great to see everybody so responsive and just very generous with that. And it just, blew us away.
Yeah. I think being a part of the Firekeepers, especially, is, I've met so many more amazing people than I probably would have met if I hadn't joined the Firekeepers team. And it's been like just awesome, like being in the same space with people who share the same interests and may have the same experiences. And, or you can trust them to go to them for advice or anything like that. So I feel like that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I can't think of my big I don't know. I tend to, whenever I have an accomplishment, I always tend to be like, "Oh, that wasn't a big deal." Like I humble myself. I try to I don't know. I don't humble myself. I'm trying to think of like how to describe it. I bury it because I try to I don't know. I think I put too much pressure on myself. So I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, that I hope you guys know what I'm trying to say." Like but I think my
I think I
biggest
get what you're saying.
yeah my biggest accomplishment I guess would be like I had a Javi coffee sponsorship a couple years ago, and they reached out to me, and it was actually like it was my first ever like sponsorship, like actually being reached out to, where they were like, we love like your content, we like stumbled upon your stream, like we want you to promote our coffee. And so and then they asked me to like do it again once like the first term was up, because I had been making some sales. So that was kind of fun, being a little spokesgirl for this coffee company. And the coffee tasted really good too. So that wasn't, because I was afraid, oh, this coffee is going to taste bad, because it was instant coffee. So I was kind of like, oh no, this coffee is going to taste terrible and I'm going to be promoting this product. But it actually worked out. So yeah, it was cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
For streaming, I know we kind of talked about our highs, the things that we have accomplished that we're really proud of, the connections we've made. What's a struggle that you guys face in that content creation space?
It's like imposter syndrome, I think, a little bit. Like I'm not it's hard because all of like there's a lot of group like in my like community, there's a lot of us who stream, and like I feel like I'm the most boring of all of them, but like people tell me I'm not, and like I talked to my partner about this, but like just like I feel like I'm this like it's hard. It's hard to put words to it as well, but like they're all so funny and I feel like I'm not, and so like it's hard to like collab with people when it's like that, and like I feel like I'm not gonna bring anything to the table kind of thing. So just like insecurities is like the hardest part about streaming, I feel like. And then when like it's so out of your control, the viewership, and I try not to look at it, but like there's days sometimes when you're nearing 30 average viewers, and then all of a sudden you're down to like 10 again, and it's just it hurts, and like there's nothing you can do about it, and like it's nothing to do with you most likely, right? But it's just it's hard. Both me and my partner struggle with that, and so like I feel like most streamers do as well, you know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. Just like I'm surrounded by so many cool people, and I feel like I just am not to that same level in a way, but I also like I know that that's my brain being a dirty liar, and just I'm just like, nah, bonk, get out of here. But it's a very hard like one to bonk and to get out. And I think another like big thing that I struggle with is like dealing with things that are outside of my control, like tech issues and things like that. Because I always try to keep my cool. Of course, it's always good to do that, but I don't like it when things don't go wrong and when I don't understand why the thing isn't working. And so, like, uh, I'll feel like my moods will go down, and I don't want my viewers to like feel that frustration. I want them to understand that like it's valid to feel those things, but like doing that on camera can like, and then like watching that back and watching the VODs back can be just kind of like a little bit disheartening, I guess, in a way. But you know, there are things that will happen, things that are outside of our control, and uh, uh, it's gotten a little bit easier to deal with more practice and stuff. But it can still be disheartening to deal with, especially if there's things that like pay attention to your average viewership. Because if the stream is like offline for long enough, I think it ends up counting it as like two separate ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that always has the potential to like mess with that in metrics. And when you're looking at that for potential like game keys and things like that, that can be stressful, but not the worst thing, but not fun.
No. Yeah, I
Yeah, the
honestly like,
metrics is hard.
huh?
Oh yeah.
I was just saying like the metrics with like sponsorships and stuff, or not sponsorships, but like the Liza P thing. Was it the creator program? You know, like there's so many of us that are like amazing streamers, and like, but they want like 25 or 30 like concurrent viewership average, and it's hard because it's like I love this game, I love this community, but they don't want me, and that's hard to deal with, right?
Yeah.
Because of yeah.
I totally get that because like yeah you know that obviously like you're really good at the game or you're a big fan of it and you know other people in the community, but then it's just like that little metric that they just have to have for whatever reason. I don't know why, and it's just I think it's like kind of silly in my opinion that like sometimes I mean I get it because they can't let everybody in, but I feel like sometimes when it's like super high like that it's almost like not fair because a lot of people's views as a whole right now are like a little bit low anyway, so I feel like they need to also adjust to that, because not a lot of people are able to achieve it anyway. So yeah, I get that. Last night I was dealing with not imposter syndrome, but just like I got so stuck in my head because I was streaming Oblivion Remastered and then the game kept crashing. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to take a break and try to like figure out what we're going to do. And one of my friends was like, you should play Night Rain with these people. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I took my break and there was a lull in chat, which is totally fine. Like pretty much a lot of people were lurking and it's fine. So I came back from the break and I started talking and I hadn't heard from my friends yet. And so I was trying to think about what to do and I didn't know what to do. So it was just like so awkward. And then I just immediately went back to the be right back screen. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I just like went to the be right back screen. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, people are going to be seeing that in the VOD and they're going to think I'm weird or like, everything. So that happened. But yeah, tech issues for sure also like really get in my head. like I'm just recording right now and I'm still like watching everything because I'm just so paranoid about tech issues and if something does happen, like little one, you said that if your stream is down for long enough, it splits it and then it kicks the lurkers out too. So then when you go live again, you lose like 10 viewers and it really sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to add on, because definitely the viewership is something big. Like I get in my head about that. I know I should. No, I can't control that. I know, especially when we're coming up on like holidays or the summer, like people have things to do. People are not just like in watching streams, playing games. They might be out and about. So that's something that I do struggle with, and I'm just like, turn viewer count off. Don't look at the email after the stream. Like, just go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously tech issues because it's so frustrating, especially when people are in there and you're like, well, I want people to have a good time and I want to be entertaining, and like I'm sitting here frustrated. Like I don't want people to see me pissed off. So that's huge too. And I know that's again something out of your control. And then I think another big thing for me personally is like, okay, well, I stream. Now I need to go make content for other platforms. And it's like, I need to go do all this stuff. And then I'm just like, no, I'm tired. I don't want to. And I have these ideas that never, sometimes never manifest into anything else. And I'm like, dang, I should have done that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just me, like, you're not doing enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other content stuff is hard. Like, they all the videos on YouTube, like how to be a good streamer. It's like
Oh, yeah.
do short form, right? And like
Yep.
do YouTube shorts and do TikTok and all this. And I'm just like, I don't have the bandwidth. I can't. And so like I have to accept that I'm probably not going to grow to partner level because of that. And like, but it's hard because you want to do it as well. Like you want more friends essentially by bringing in people to your stream. But it's like, especially like when I'm teaching, like when I was teaching, like I have barely had the bandwidth to get on stream every night or not every night, but like on the stream nights. And with like all the other stuff that we do, the too much girls thing, and so just one more thing to think about is hard. And if you don't put effort in it, like if you post straight from the Twitch thing, like then it's not going to do great because it's not edited and it's not like visually appealing and all that stuff. So like it's just time. There's no time.
And I
Right.
think it gets kind of disheartening when you're like, okay, well, I'm going to, I've got all my content planned for this week. I'm going to post it this time on this platform. And then you have one video that does kind of good. And then the rest of them, it's just like the algorithm is not hitting the right people. And then you're like,
Yeah.
what am I doing wrong? Is this something I'm doing? So yeah. And then I'll just get out of, just doing it all. I'm like, okay, well, I had 5 videos that didn't do good. I'm just going to take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'll get into these streaks, I guess, of like, ooh, I'm going to have this idea of editing this, but like it's there's some I feel like a lot of people say like just posting the same thing to multiple platforms can be good, which it can, but it also is like time consuming, and especially depending on like what the platform is. Sometimes you have to tailor it just a little bit or tweak it, which takes more time, and then it's stressful because we know that these are like really helpful growth tools, but like y'all have been saying, like there's just not enough time, and like it's enough just to go through and making like a VOD and then having time to like make a YouTube video, make a YouTube short, make that TikTok, make that Instagram reel, uh, and then like promoting those things can just be disheartening, especially if you like of course you're excited for the other people around you that are doing well, but when you're not at that level and it feels like you're not there for a long time, it can be like disheartening and like discouraging, and then it's just like, okay, I'm going to put this down. Maybe I'll come back to it when I have the energy for it, if I do.
Right. Yeah. I think that's super important, especially because I feel like a lot of times, and I kind of feel this way a little bit too, like a lot of times we forget to like take a step back if things aren't working out. And a lot of times I think we're like, well, it's not working out. I got to try harder. I got to do more. I got to do this. I got to do that. And then we just end up burning ourselves out even more. And then the content's not as good. We're not as motivated. And it just is a whole lot worse. So I feel like knowing when to kind of take a break based off of all that stuff that you just said, it's like that's really important, I feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that's an excellent segue into the next question,
Yeah.
which is, in streaming content creation, how do you pull yourself out of a bad headspace or burnout? What are some tips for things that maybe you've applied that have been helpful for you? And what advice would you give to other people that are dealing with like negative thoughts about their stream, like thinking that's reflecting bad on them or just, burnout, things like that?
Mm,
For
I know.
burnout, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Like I do something called Mood Monday. And it's just because I stream on Mondays and so I have it be Monday, but and it worked with the name. But it's basically I play whatever I want to do, or like I do whatever I want to do, not even play. So like I used to start with crochet, but lately I haven't been feeling the crochet, so I'm not crocheting. I'm just playing games. And like I don't put any rules on myself on what I can play. I just do whatever the heck I want to play, even if it's not like a great stream game. Like Night Rain is really hard to stream because you can't chat. It's like
Mm-hmm.
go 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 go, and like there's no breaking, so it's hard to stream. But like if I'm feeling like I want to play Night Rain, then I'll play Night Rain. And kind of make I kind of do the same thing for like the game that I'm playing through as well. Like recently I put Lies of P on the back burner. I like paused it cuz I wasn't having fun and I don't know why exactly. Like I can't put a finger on why I wasn't liking the game or I didn't want to play it. So I'm just stopping and I'm just moving on to another game and maybe I'll come back to Lies of P or maybe I'll play it offline, but I just in order for me to have fun and for everyone else to have fun, sorry, in order for everyone else to have fun, I have to have fun. And because I get grumpy, and so yeah, I just stopped Liza P and now I'm playing something else, and I feel like I'm in a better headspace because of that. And so I just have to make sure not to hold myself to anything and just make sure I'm playing the game for the fun of the not for any other reason, basically.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like it's.
I'm
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Zoe.
No, go ahead. No,
No,
go
you
ahead.
go ahead. No, you have been waiting to talk.
Um, I'm kind of in a similar boat, like just having dedicated time to just playing whatever I want to and not putting pressure on myself to like say that, oh, you have to like stream this game because this is going to be like good for your viewership. But like, it can also, I like having games just to play for myself. And especially when I think when you're streaming and like doing content stuff that's focused on video games, like it's important to have those ones that are just for yourself, because then you have that headspace and time to just decompress and like just focus in on whatever that world is. And just having I really my brain is very, I feel like I think of things all of the time. Most of the time, I will write those things down. But if I have times when I'm like feeling discouraged about like my content, I'll have a time of just sitting down and I'm like, okay, what are some ideas that I've been thinking about that I might be able to like implement? And then sometimes like just putting those things down can help like get that like those creative juices flowing and also like making me feel like more motivated again, um if that makes any sense. And so just like, yeah, I think that's important to just have that time for yourself to just do what you want to do and not feeling pressure to do any of it. Like however you relax is valid in the way that you want to do it, and you can't you can't keep going on an empty cup without fuel. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like my biggest struggle is the yeah, like the coming up with the new ideas and then wondering like, okay, well, because I'm always worried about respecting other people's ideas. So if somebody has the same idea, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. But then I don't have ideas. And then so it's like this balance between like, okay, so when does it become like okay to like do the same idea and when does it not? I do struggle with that being like, well, I have this idea, but this person does it, but I really want to do it, but now I can't. And I struggle with that a lot. Because obviously like we all at some point are going to have like the same ideas, the same creative like headspace. But then also I thought that once I got the setup, I'd have all of these like creative stuff happening and all this fun stuff. And it's actually like, which is fine, but it's like not happening. Like I'm just as like the same as I was when I was streaming from my PlayStation, which is fine. But I'm just like, I thought I was going to be able to do all this stuff. But then like I realized that takes time and effort. And I'm
Here it is
like,
again.
yeah. Yeah. So it's like, yes, I want to have like a second camera. I want to have, you know, I want to turn my setup around. I want to like rearrange the room. And then I think, well, that involves, yeah, time. So, which, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I think a big thing has been like something I struggle with, and I'm trying to figure out how to navigate it. Is I would feel so guilty about canceling streams.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but I would just get this immense guilt. And especially lately, like earlier this year, my dad had a really bad accident. He was in the hospital for like 2 months, almost 3 months. So there were a lot of streams that I canceled, and just allowing myself to cancel and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Because anytime I know when I'm streaming and I'm in a bad headspace, I don't feel like I'm having fun. I know the viewers are not having fun. It just, I feel like I'm just very off. So it's kind of getting in my head and trying to tell myself it's okay to cancel. And then, you know, Joseph obviously saying, like, hey, why don't you just rest tonight?
Yeah.
So just kind of
Yeah.
knowing where my limits are.
Yeah, I had to get over the feeling bad of not canceling, and now I don't feel as bad, and I'm more willing to cancel if I'm tired, and I won't stream. Like if I'm drained socially, I won't stream, and like my social battery is so small, so like I usually can't do anything social on the same day as streams either.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I struggled that with that for a long time, and like I have like chronic pain issues and pain flare-ups that sometimes like it's really hard for me to get out of bed, and it's gotten a lot better since then, luckily. But like I would feel so guilty, and I would just tell my community like I'm so sorry. Like I would have this in plan for this schedule, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be great, and then I would end up canceling one stream and then another one, and then I would feel just so guilty. And I would have people telling me like, hey, like we understand you need to take care of yourself, like it's nice to have a schedule. Yes, like consistency is one of those things that like helps with uh like numbers and things like that. But um it took me a long time to like accept the fact that like when I'm feeling okay and good, that's when I do my best streams. Kind of like you were talking about earlier, and like it's okay. I don't do it like nearly as often, and so now when I have it, do it every once in a while, like it's an all right thing. And I also I started doing some PNG tube streaming recently on the days that I've been having more of those high pain levels, or like my brain just isn't doing it, which has helped a little bit with that too. And so sometimes it can take like it. We all know what it's like. It sucks when we have to cancel things, but it's hard to get over like that self guilt that
Mm-hmm.
we feel when we do it. So I can 100% relate to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And then I worry like, oh, well, then they're not gonna like, because I put a stream schedule out every week, and sometimes I might cancel a stream, or sometimes the schedule might be different because of my like other commitments and everything. And so I feel like, okay, well, it's not consistent, and people aren't gonna take me seriously because they don't believe I'm actually gonna be live, so they're not gonna be there. And it's just like this downward spiral of, you know, thoughts in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, we're gonna go into some Soulsborne content because we are members of the Firekeepers. So, what is a Firekeepers collab without talking about souls? So, what introduced you to the genre, and what are your favorite aspects about the genre?
I think I want to say that I was first introduced to Souls games through YouTube. I think that I was watching a Let's Play of someone that was going through Dark Souls Remastered. And I was like, I don't think I could ever play this game. There's no way. This is way too difficult. And then I think it was 2021. I had decided to give Dark Souls Remastered like a try, and I played it. I had enjoyed it, and then I had stopped playing it for some reason, and I just never ended up picking it back up until a couple of years later. But then I was reintroduced, I guess, back into uh, the Souls genre with watching some friends playing Bloodborne. And I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, so I wasn't able to play it. And then I think it was someone had told me that if you had a PS Plus subscription, you could technically play it on your computer through your PC. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll go ahead and give that a shot and I'll see if it works. And then I played it and I absolutely fell in love with it. Like the combat, I preferred it much more to what I had experienced from Dark Souls, and the lore. I'm a big lore person. So when video games have lore, especially cryptic lore, that you have to put the pieces together, I love that stuff. So like being able to play that, and then like Bloodborne was the first Souls game that I had ever beaten, and it just felt like such a massive accomplishment that it's a feeling that I don't really feel like I've gotten from other games. Like there's those games that have those boss battles that are really hard and difficult, but there's just something unique about um bosses in like Souls games, and like finding the patterns of their attacks, like knowing when's the best times to dodge, when you can be greedy and it will pay off, because sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes it does. Um, but just like, and especially like the community that found through that as well, like finding the fire keepers. I didn't like have a lot of Souls experience. Before it applied, and then I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. If I won't know if I don't try, and then I did. And so just being able to find just communities of people who love these games so much has been a really big plus of it. But like these games have gotten me into the ideas of challenge runs. Like I'm almost done with a BL4 run that I had to take a break from because I was beating my head up against the wall. But we'll eventually get back to it. But yeah, just got into it with Dark Souls, and now it's one of my favorite genres that I don't think I will ever put down.
Yeah. I don't really remember how how I found out that Souls games existed. I think because with the PS5's release, Demon Souls was like remade. So I think it was Demon Souls, and like I was watching the person I watched do Assassin's Creed Valhalla. He also played Demon Souls at the same time. And I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. And I'm like, this also looks really hard. I don't know if I'll ever play it. And then with my Switch, I got Dark Souls Remastered. It was on sale or something. And so like I got Dark Souls Remastered on the Switch, which my partner will never stop giving me crap for playing Dark Souls on the Switch, but
Mobile.
yeah. And there's a clip of me like blaming Pokemon for I think I drank a flask in an enemy's face when I didn't need to, because the like Dark Souls controls on the Switch are still normal. Like the A is the bottom button instead of like how Switch has it backwards, which is annoying. And so like when
Yeah.
I would hit the button for dodge in Pokemon, it dodges in Pokemon, it doesn't dodge in Dark Souls. It drinks an Estus flask. And so yeah, so but I played it on the Switch and like I really liked it, and I was like, "Oh, like it was hard." Like it was not easy for me. I had over 600 deaths, I think, because I was counting the death. We didn't quite get to 666, so I know that, but like we're in the 600s. And it was really hard. I was like, I like this. I want to play more. And then I played Bloodborne, and I loved Bloodborne. I still think Dark Souls 1 is like top, but Bloodborne is a very close second. And then I did Elden Ring, and those are the Souls games I've finished. Um, Basically, well, I guess like if you count like Hollow Knight as like a Souls like, but yeah. And like I realized I like difficult games, and I'm actually not bad at them, and I'm getting better at them, which is fun. To like I started like a Dark Souls like second playthrough once just for fun, and I was like, wow, this is so much easier than I remember. Like, I've gotten better at games. This is weird because I didn't really kinds of games like anything that requires any kind of skill. Like we would play multiplayer games with like my sisters growing up, like Monkey Ball on the GameCube, but like nothing that like actually requires you to like Zoe mentioned, study the boss and learn the boss to like dodge when you like it's coming, but you have to dodge at the right time so you don't get hit, or like when it's time to hit or when it's time to drink a flask instead of hitting, like, all that stuff.
Yeah. I got into the Souls games because I knew what Dark Souls was, but I didn't quite know everything about it. And then I remember seeing trailers for Elden Ring and telling my partner, like, I'm going to play that. And he's just like, okay, like, no, you're not. But like, because he knew that it was like the Souls genre and he probably didn't think I'd like it. But then people were telling me, like Tay over here was telling me that I should start with Bloodborne because Bloodborne is a really good segue Souls game into the genre. So I started with Bloodborne, fell in love with it, and then I played Elden Ring, and then it all just kind of took off from there. So yeah, it was like a different kind of game that I had never really played before, and it was nice to branch out, and I ended up just becoming kind of addicted to it. So
Yeah. I have found though I can't. This is another thing with the burnout we were talking about earlier, but like I can't do Souls games back to back. Like I can't, and I can't even do like the Mass Effect series I'm playing through. I can't do Mass Effect 1 and then right after Mass Effect 2 I get burnt out on the game and I get bored with it, and so I have to like switch it up. But yeah, so I don't do Souls games back to back anymore. But yeah, it's just too much stress or like frustration at bosses. It's just too much back to back.
I made that
It's nice
mistake.
to have that break.
Yeah.
I made that mistake. I told myself I was going to play every single Dark Souls game plus the Elden Ring DLC back to back. It started in April last year and I finished this past February. So, and like there were so many days where I was like, I don't want to do this, but I have to because I said I would. So I have to finish it. So I did it. It's over.
Congrats, you did it.
Thanks.
Yeah, you did do it. You accomplished your goal.
I did. So, Taylor, what got you? Oh, sorry. What got you into the Souls genre?
So I watched Joseph play a little bit of Bloodborne here and there. It was kind of like when your partner's playing something and you're just on the couch and you're like kind of paying attention to it, but you're doing something else. So you're like, oh, okay, that's a game. So when we started streaming, he decided that he wanted to play Dark Souls 1. He'd never played it before. So that was one of the first games we streamed. And I remember the first, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 streams, I wasn't really interested in it. I was just kind of sitting there and it was our first couple streams. So I was awkward on camera. We were streaming from our couch and I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing here? But he got to like the first couple boss fights and then I started to really get into it and get invested. So a couple months later, I told him, I'm like, I think I want to play Bloodborne. And he's like, okay, do you think you're ready? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm ready. So I get into it and, it doesn't go terrible, but like it definitely is a little bit of a learning curve. If you've never played a Souls game, it's a whole different atmosphere entirely. But I really started to love it. And like the more I played it, the more I fell in love with it. And I love the aesthetic, just like that Victorian London, kind of like slightly steampunk, like everything about the environment and the lore, especially kind of when you get into halfway through and it gets very like Lovecraftian. I loved that and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to play this again. So that was my that was my first Souls game, my exposure to the genre. And I just, from there, I went through and played Dark Souls, all the Dark Souls games, played Elden Ring, and then just some different ones that are not necessarily FromSoft, but it was a good introduction to the genre.
Okay, what's your favorite and least favorite Souls game that you've played?
My favorite is Dark Souls 1. I just love the map. Like it's just the level design is unbeatable. Like it's just so good. Like when I walked out of Blighttown for the first time and I realized where I was like, oh my gosh, because Blighttown was horrible for me. I rage quit that game so many times in Blighttown.
Blighttown's the
and
worst.
so when I walked out and I'm like, I I know this place. I've been here.
Like, I'm
I'm
home.
home. I'm safe. It was just such a great feeling. And so like nothing will beat that ever, I think. That's why Bloodborne is just slightly underneath. And then like my least favorite is Elden Ring. I don't think I like the open world Souls. I like the linear ones a little bit better, I think. I also like there's so many bosses. There's so many, and half of them are the same, I feel like. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Elden Ring's not a favorite. I still have to play the DLC. I haven't yet, but I will eventually.
I do have to say the DLC is not as much copy and paste. There is a little bit, but it's not as excessive as the base game.
It's not as excessive, but I feel like it also kind of has its cons. Like
Yeah.
trying to navigate that DLC is a headache.
The map is really
Yeah.
confusing because the map is more,
Mhm.
I feel like they designed it like more top down, even though it's not meant to be top down. And like, so you're like on this horizontal plane, but then you have to look at the map in like layers. So like, that's what makes it kind of annoying because you're like, I want to go
So
here,
many
but I
hidden
can't
paths.
figure out how to climb this mountain. Like,
Yeah.
so
And then you're like, oh, I
Right.
can't climb the mountain.
I have to go underground to get to the top of the
Yeah.
mountain. Like, so
Yeah.
yeah, but you'll have fun
Night
with
Rain
it.
has
It's a
ruined
fun
me in that
DLC.
specific aspect.
Wait, what?
Night Rain has ruined me in that specific aspect.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
Yeah.
going back to regular gameplay after playing that and being able to not have fall damage and
Oh
climb
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just jump from the top of this mountain. It's fine. It's not an Elden Ring. Nope.
No, doesn't work that way.
Nope.
Well, especially in Elden Ring where you're like, okay, well, I totally just took a fall that was worse than this. If I take this fall right now, I'll be fine. And then you die and you're like, okay, what the heck? I just fell from much higher.
Yeah,
What is
the
this game
scripted
right
drop
now?
downs that don't hurt you. It's bad.
Yeah. And sometimes it's almost like the game, like you know you can make the jump, but then the game's like, nope, but you're not supposed to do it that way. So I'm just gonna, yeah, you died. Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Zoe, wait, did Zoe say hers? Yes, she did.
I don't think so.
Oh,
No, I don't think so.
no, she didn't. Okay.
So I've only, as far as like ones I have completed Dark Souls Remastered, Bloodborne, and Elden Ring. I'm currently going through my first playthrough of Dark Souls 3, and so my favorite is Bloodborne. It's my baby. It wasn't the first one that I played, but like it was just the one that I really like just connected with and whatnot. But I really do love Dark Souls Remastered. It is really good. I think out of the ones that I've played, it's my least favorite, but not by very much. Because like you were talking about with the connectivity of the world, like being able to go back and like see places that you've been before, like especially from different views and how the world just connects together is something that's really cool. And like yeah, but if that's my list in my small amount that I've played, those are my choices.
I would have to say Bloodborne is my favorite. Partially because the story is amazing, the lore is amazing, the combat came really easily to me. My least favorite is Dark Souls 2. I'm sorry, I'm riding that bandwagon. I tried so hard to like it, and there were times where I was like, okay, this is not so bad, and then like it would get really bad again, and I'm like, nope, I hate it. Like we're done. So yeah, but definitely Bloodborne is my absolute favorite. So
Yeah, for me, it is Bloodborne. Especially, and I know this is something you don't really see in the other Souls games. I love the rally system in that game.
mm-hmm.
I
It's
love
so
when I
good.
get hit and I'm like, dang, they took so much health. And I'm like, I'm just going to take it back. And I just go and start whacking the boss.
You can
And
be
for
so
somebody,
greedy.
yeah, for sure. For somebody who did not utilize a shield in any of the Dark Souls games, I love the fact that I don't have to have a shield
Mm-hmm.
because I always get told, use your shield, use your shield. I don't like the
I
shield.
don't.
Nope.
Nah.
Nope.
So
Shield will
it
fire
worked a
here,
lot
too.
better for me with the aggressiveness of Bloodborne, how they want you to be more aggressive. They don't want you to stand back and shield. They want you to go in and start hitting. They want you to parry. So that just connected well with my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And Lee's favorite is Dark Souls 2. They made some choices compared to 1 because I love 1. I love 1 remastered. And then I played 2 and I'm like, why would you guys do this? Why would you make these changes to like something that worked well in Dark Souls 1? And you're like, we're going to change this and make it more difficult. And I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
haven't
I
played 2
have.
yet, but it's coming soon, I think. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also like apprehensive because I've heard so many things about it.
So
There's some
basically,
weird mechanics.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you got to go into it knowing that it might not be your cup of tea. I believe everybody should at least try it. Because I've heard the same things too, like, oh, it sucks, it's terrible, but I still wanted to try because I also just wanted to be able to say that I played it so people would stop asking me to play it. Um, but I do think that if you go into the game with kind of like, I went into it with like a little bit of an open mind, and I still had the same opinion I had before I played it, but kind of like knowing, kind of like preparing yourself, like, okay, it's going to be different. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to be annoying. I think that'll make the experience a little bit better. Because it's not like you're thrown off guard in that aspect of, you know, like if you're super excited to play a game and then you end up getting disappointed because it's like not clicking with you, I feel like that's a lot worse than knowing like, okay, like I want to play this game. I know it's going to be annoying, but I'm prepared for that. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents.
Yeah, it's not a bad. I don't think Dark Souls 2 is a bad game, and I think a
No.
lot of people are like, "Oh, Dark Souls 2 sucks." Like
No.
it doesn't. I just don't like some of the mechanics, and
Yeah.
it just makes it not enjoyable for me.
Yeah. It's more so like the story's great and everything, and like the bosses are cool and stuff, and the areas are cool, but there's just a lot of things in there where I think they wanted to like continue with the Souls genre, but then make it difficult, like more difficult than it has to be. And it's just like, but why? Like, why don't you just stick to the same formula and like just kind of keep it what we all love about like, you know, the first game. So let's see, what has Souls games taught you about yourself, or like any life lessons that you learned?
For me, it's taught me that it's okay to fail. Like, I already knew it was okay to fail, but I think especially with Souls games, like, it's a challenging game, and it's always awesome when you're able to fight a boss and beat it on the first try.
Mhm.
But a lot of the times that's not going to be the case. And so, like, being able to recognize, like, oh, there are things that I'm doing wrong, and I can look at changing what I'm doing in order to like see if I can get a different result, basically. And so, like, being able to get through those boss fights made me like that sense of accomplishment made me feel like it was just worth it that all of that struggle was worth it to do that. And then like when Bloodborne was like the first Souls game that I had finished, and I had just it felt like such an accomplishment because I never thought I'd be able to like beat a game like that. And then I did, and I was just sitting there and I was just like, this feels good. Like, I failed so many times. I died so many times. Gravity is one of those secret Souls bosses that they don't tell you about, but will claim you many times. But like, it's okay to fail because failure doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. It's just a lesson that can be learned that you can apply to the next try, and you can try again and again and again. So I'd probably say that's the biggest lesson then thing I've learned also about myself that I've been able to like apply in my everyday life with just like my job and other things that like it's okay to fail. You can learn from it and you can apply it and you can try again because you will eventually succeed. Like,
Mhm.
you put in that effort and you put in that time, like, you will get there. And it feels so great when you do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel that kind of the same way. Like, I think Souls games teach persistence, especially because, like, you know, you're gonna fail a lot, and you may feel like you're like never moving forward. But then if you quit, you're not gonna finish. So I think that like really is kind of a motivator. I have a sticker on my water bottle that says "Celebrate progress, no matter how small," and so like as a occupational therapist, it's kind of like that. Like I deal with that in my job where my patients are like, "Oh, well, all I did was stand up today," and I'm like, "Well, that's awesome because you've been in bed for 3," you know. So it's kind of like I feel like it teaches that mantra, like, okay, all I did today was get to the next bonfire, but then this boss just like, killed me 10,000 times, but at least I got to the next bonfire. So it's good to like pick those moments out of your experience and be like, well, that's progress, and that's progress, even though it was like tiny, you still made that progress. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. Small progress is still progress, and that progress stacks up.
Yeah. I would say like the same. I just want to like I'll just echo what you guys said. The persistence and like I've learned I'm a little bit more determined than I thought I was to do things a certain way, more specifically. Like Tay was saying, people always say to use a shield. Like, just use a shield. It's like, no. I don't I don't want to. I'm not going to. Or they're like, just parry it. It's like the parrying in parrying in Dark Souls is really not easy. And then yeah, and so like I just never used a shield, and I used the starting scimitar almost the entire time for Dark Souls 1, and then I got to ONS, Ornstein and Smell, and they destroyed me. I was doing like 30 damage with each hit. It was so bad. And then like I finally was like listening to chat and decided to change my weapon. Apparently I had one of the best weapons in the game in my pocket and I didn't know. um but yeah, so like and yeah, learning that I like the dark fantasy a little bit too, because I'd never really played games before in general, and so just kind of finding my gamer identity with them.
I think for me, to kind of echo what everybody says, I know persistence is the big thing that we all have as a takeaway from playing Souls games. I think also for me, it's about kind of knowing when to stop and take a break. Like I will sit and just like hit my head against a wall on a boss, and I'm like, okay, I just need to take a couple hours. I need to go do something. I'll come back, and then it's kind of like you come back with a fresh perspective, and you're like, okay, this is clicking now. And then another thing, I feel like there's a lot of practice and kind of, just really trying to think outside the box. Like you're doing it one way, you're not getting anywhere. And when you brought up Tay, when you brought up ONS, I was trying to think, I'm like, what can I relate back to this question? I remember I was having such a bad time with ONS. Like I was playing it off stream downstairs. I think Joseph was upstairs working. Like he heard me yelling and he's like, "Are you good?" And I'm like, "I'm at the ONS fight. It sucks." I just remember like walking in and I'm like, if I just sidestep and let Ornstein do his thing, I can get a couple hits on him. And I just kept, trying to figure out ways I could go about that differently. So it really taught me how to think outside the box, especially in that kind of Souls boss environment.
Yeah. And like as a teacher, I think about how video games like or do so good for like the like not even like just developing brains, but like adult brains, like right, we critical think a little bit more, we problem solve, because if one thing doesn't work, we'll have to figure it out how to get past a different way, right? And the determination and the persistence, like those are all great things for kids. And like so yeah, I love learning, like Souls games in particular teach a lot for just kids and adults.
Oh.
Absolutely agree. Okay. There we go. All right. So, my favorite question of this topic that we're under. What was there a moment where you felt like your victory was diminished by like a viewer?
Not particularly. I will say, like, there are people sometimes, especially in the Souls community, and like the Firekeepers are opposite of that, right? The get good attitude. Um, I've had people come in and be like, "You're doing this wrong. You should not do it like this," and that is frustrating. But like they didn't like. It's not like diminishing like a victory over a boss or anything, but it's if they say, or like people saying, "Oh, I did this first try," like that kind of thing also does not feel great if they're saying it directly to you. It's like in our Firekeepers we have the celebrate wins, and like people do that there, which like that's different. then like someone coming in your chat be like, "Oh, you took this long on that boss?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did actually. I had over 600 deaths in Dark Souls. Yeah, thanks." But you know what? I did it. And so that kind of thing happens unfortunately with Souls games, I feel like, but
Mm-hmm.
and just games in general, honestly. But yeah.
Um, I think there was one time when I was back when I was doing my BL4 run for Bloodborne, and I was on Ludwig, and that boss took like 2+ months of streams for me to figure out how to do that fight. And I remember there was one stream in particular where there was someone I think that came in, they were new and they came in like towards the beginning of when I was starting my attempts with him. And they came back, I think like an hour or so later, and they're like, "Oh, you're still on this boss?" And I'm like, yeah, I mean, this is a DLC boss. It is a no leveling run. My character doesn't have as much level as many people have, and this has been a big learning thing. Like, this boss has just been difficult for me to figure out, like, how to do it. Like, however long it's going to take me is going to be valid because eventually I will get there. Eventually did, but just getting that comment had made me feel like I was just kind of like small in a way of like, oh, you should have been done with this boss by now. Like, clearly that means I'm doing something wrong or I'm just not good enough. And, that ends up going in the thought spiral that we don't like doing. And so, my mod, I'm very thankful for my mod team. Um, it came in and was just like, I'm sure that this wasn't meant to be something negative, but this, it takes a while sometimes for people to do bosses, and this is a very difficult boss. So, like, let's not have that kind of an attitude. And I don't think that they meant it to come across that way. And I think that's another thing too is there's a lot of like backseating and gatekeeping, and there's a lot of it that is intentional, unfortunately. And then there's the times that like I feel like people won't realize that that's what they're doing. Like they just have so much excitement of whatever game you're playing that they like want to share what they're doing, but then it comes like and ends up coming across as like, I know how to play the game and I need you to play this the way too because this is the way to play it. But like all ways to play the game, these games are valid. Like these games give us so many different tools and ways to play them. Like playing with summons is a super valid thing. If you don't want to do that, that's super fine. But for a lot of the games, they have lore things. There's quests that have to do with them. Like if you're using items or consumables and just all the various things. So everyone's ways to play are valid, but when people come in and they try to impose that on you or diminish you for like the effort that you're putting in just because it was something easier for them, like that stuff is not fun to deal with. But I'm thankful I don't have it encounter. That doesn't happen super duper often, but it'll happen every once in a while and it sucks.
Yeah. Going off of your like, oh, you're not playing it the way I did, or you used a summon and I didn't, so therefore you did it wrong. Like, I beat Melania in 11 tries, which was like super crazy. Like I burst into tears because I was just like, what did I just do? And then I was using Malekith's sword, so I was using his like bleed damage thing, and then I had Tish, and somebody came in and was like, well, Melania is weak to bleed, and you used a summon, so blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I am using the tools that the game gave me. You just chose to make it harder for yourself, but okay. so,
Yeah.
so that was like really annoying.
Yeah. And like I took over 100 tries on Melania, but like towards the end I was like, I just want to beat her, so I'm summoning. And like I was trying really hard to summon, just because I wanted to do it by myself. But like I ended up doing it because I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
She's annoying. And then we like destroyed her, me and my summon. We like we bullied her a little bit.
Yeah.
But like yeah. Because I had learned her so well at that point after 100 tries. So yeah, I totally feel that.
Yeah, same. I think Melania was one of the first bosses that I actually like had to take a break with because I was so frustrated with I just couldn't grasp onto some of the like attacks. But after I finally figured it out. And me and my mimic here literally bullied her into a corner, and I kind of felt bad because we were staggering her with the double scythes, and I was just like, but I just want to win. I just want to beat you, and then it finally happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my mimic, we had two curved swords that did bleed, like a bloodhound fang and I think was Moog's. And so like, oof, we both had both of those. So it was not fun for her,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Well, fortunately, but
Unfortunate for her.
yeah, unfortunate for her.
Taylor, did you have any moments where somebody came in and
Not really. I mean, obviously, people have come in and been like, well, I'm on New Game Plus 30 and I did this first try, my first run. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't care. This
Yeah.
is my run.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to piece it together. I'm trying to figure out what to do here. So it's not really anybody diminishing. I think it's when people come in and they're not respectful of whatever rules you have in place in your channel about backseating or spoilers, things like that. That drives me up the wall. Especially when a situation where they're like trying to tell you every little thing to fight. Like, oh, you have this up, and I walk up to them and like dash to the left. And I'm like, if you tell me how to do this, I'm never gonna learn. Like, I'm somebody that's a visual learner. I'm somebody that needs to do something several times for it to click. So if you come in and try to like, basically give me instructions on how you did it, it's not gonna do anything for me.
No, I
will
totally get
actively
that.
not do things people tell me if they tell me. So like, I'm like, I don't want to do it now. Like, no.
Yeah, and I'm stubborn too, so I'm like, no, I'm gonna intentionally not do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want
Like,
to dodge to the right, actually.
Because you said
And
that.
take the left.
Now that you mention it, maybe I won't do that now. Like,
Yeah.
Let me show you how it's done without doing that.
yeah, I love like what Taylor was saying about people coming in like, well, I'm on New Game Plus, 16 and my character's level 300. I'm like, that's awesome. And then I just like move on. Like,
feel like
okay,
it's always
cool. Like,
I feel like it's always a red flag for me when somebody is a first time chatter and they come in and say, I put 1,000 hours into this game and I'm New Game Plus 30. And I'm like, oh no, they're going to be this person.
No, don't come in with the advice. Please just leave it at
yeah,
that.
just sit back and watch and just hang out, and yeah, everything's gonna be fine.
Yep. Good for you.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that. So, do any of you guys have tips or encouragement for women femmes wanting to get into content creation or Soulsborne gaming?
Follow your heart. Like, honestly, like, just do what you want to do. Don't listen to really anyone else. And if you're a too much girl, then just make sure you set boundaries for yourself as well. I think. Like, yeah, make sure to set boundaries. Important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just trying. You never know if you don't try. And there will probably be a lot of things that you end up trying that you don't end up liking. But like, there are so many different avenues to go with content creation. There's video games, there's crafting, there's co-working. Like, there's just so many different ways to like explore. And so, like, playing Souls games is a really, really good one, and we like that. But like, just trying and making sure to give yourself grace, because you're not always going to get things right, or there's some ideas that just might not work out. But it's all a journey, and if it ends up being something that you love doing and that you enjoy doing, then it's worth putting in that time and effort. And like, you never know what it could turn into.
Yeah. Taylor, do you have any advice?
So my advice would be, if you're interested in it, try it. It might not be for you. It might be something you thoroughly enjoy and, leads to making new connections, different opportunities, things like that. And if it doesn't go your way, don't get discouraged. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe that's not something that's meant for you, but you don't know until you try something. And even if it doesn't pan out, you have different things that you've learned, you've met different people. There's going to be positives to the journey even if you don't follow through with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a big important one to not, try not to get discouraged if, you decide that you don't like it as much as you thought you would, or you're not reaching the goals that you wanted to reach or anything like that. I also feel like it's good to have like realistic goals. So if you're starting the content creation journey, kind of think about, okay, what do I want from this? Like, where do I want to go with this? Where do I want to be in 6 months, a year? And like kind of, but like set like realistic goals, like, and then so that therefore you're not putting too much pressure on yourself and getting burnt out and doing too much. So I would say just kind of go with the flow and, kind of just ride the journey. That was weird to say, but just kind of do that. So really quick, life advice for anyone doing too much. Really quick.
Um, you are not too much, and it's okay to have too much going on, but like it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to remind yourself that you're just one person, and like the things that you accomplish are all valid no matter how quickly you do them or how many things you end up doing at once. If you do a lot of stuff, great. If you just did something like getting out of bed for the day, that's also great. Like, you are great the way you are, and you are not too much. And if you are around people that are saying that you're too much, then they're not enough.
Aw, I like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. I'd also say like say no. Like it's okay. It's okay to say no. Like when someone's asking and they're not really expecting because they're asking, right? So just say no. It's hard and like I struggle with it a lot, but there's a few times where I'm like, I'm so thankful that I was able to say no right there because that would have been way too much. I'm
Mm-hmm.
already doing too much, but that would have been way too much. And that, yeah. So learn how to say no.
Mm-hmm. That's a big
Really
one.
good one.
Saying no is a big one for me, and that's something I'm trying to get better at. But I think another thing is just disconnecting and just kind of being in your own space for a little bit and not thinking about the too muches or the things that you need to do or, the expectations that someone else may have on you, but just kind of being at peace for a little bit and like having that moment to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think some really good advice is something that we kind of touched on earlier is that rest is okay. And if you do spend a day rotting on the couch and you didn't really do a whole lot, that's okay because, we do need rest and we do need to reset. And like, it was mentioned earlier that sometimes that reset can actually help us be more productive. So I think that's like the biggest advice is that it's okay to rest and not really get a whole lot of things done every single day. Alrighty. Now you guys get to promote yourselves. So, we'll have Tay Ray go first, so we'll go from the bottom and then we'll go sideways.
Okay. Yeah, so Tay 3 on everything almost. It's Twitch and then like I have like a Blue Sky and stuff, but like I rarely post and mostly that's because of bandwidth. But yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to plug.
And then I am Little One You Are on pretty much everywhere. YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram. I try my best to stream consistently on the weekends as well as an extra weekday. And yeah, I really like puns and I giggle a lot and I try to make jokes.
Crazy Grey Goose everywhere on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Twitch. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and I am a variety streamer. I don't just play Souls games, lots of variety. And I would describe the atmosphere as just like we don't really know what's going to happen, but we're along for the ride because anything can happen, I feel like. So, yeah. Anyway, Taylor.
And you can find me over at Joe and Tay's Let's Plays, where I do stream with my husband Joseph. We're on, I think, all the social medias, either as Joe and Tay's Let's Plays, or I think Blue Sky maybe JT Let's Plays. Right now, we are doing Doom: The Dark Ages first playthrough, and on Sunday, which is our Souls night, we're replaying Lies of P so we can get into the DLC.
Awesome. I'm just going to thank everybody for taking the time out of their Saturday for doing the first recording of the Too Much Girls podcast. This was really fun. I enjoyed our conversations a lot. I feel like we had a very, very good conversation. And we got to know you guys a little bit better because I feel like, yeah, we watch each other's streams, but we never actually like, you know, hang out, even though this isn't necessary. I mean, this is hanging out, right? Like we're chilling together. So, so I think
It's
was
more quality time.
Yes. So thank you guys so much. I feel like those conversations were great. And thank you for being patient with all of like the little bit of troubleshooting at the beginning too. I appreciate that because I had never done anything like this before. So it was an experience.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay,
Yeah,
and then
this was super awesome.
yeah, I'm glad you guys were here. You guys were awesome. This was a really awesome conversation.
Thanks for listening. I want to thank our guests Tayray3 and Little One You Are for joining us today. Please make sure that you check out their content.
We release new episodes every month, so please be sure to follow us on our socials to stay up to date with new released episodes. Bye!
Bye!